Hello everyone, welcome to the 7th Annual Crystal Apple Awards and our first Digital Crystal Apple Awards. My name is MARCIE DETER and I am very excited to be able to share this amazing event with all of you tonight. I love the Crystal Apple Awards and I'm incredibly grateful for these inspiring teachers and their students. I really believe the Crystal Apple Awards is a unique event in that it gives these students a voice and an opportunity to be able to nominate a teacher who inspires them. And really, I could not think of a higher honor for a teacher than to be chosen and nominated by the very student you are teaching. So I wanted to share a little bit on how this event works. My committee and I attend various events where we know the students will be congregated in large numbers and invite them to fill out these nomination forms. And in addition, we have student representatives who go within their schools and invite their fellow students to fill out the forms as well. And then we also have an online nomination form for each student to be able to submit. And then, so on these nomination forms, each student chooses the teacher they would like to nominate, and they include a short essay as to how and why that teacher has inspired them. And honestly, every single year, I am so humbled by the content of these essays. We get to read stories about the funny, unique ways teachers try to grab the students' attention and engage with them. And you also hear about the teachers who use their personal time to create a safe and joyful environment for students who may be struggling. And in addition, we hear stories about those incredible teachers who push their students academically, instilling great confidence in them. So once we review the nominations and go through them, the two teachers with the most nominations are selected, and then the students whose essays were the most memorable are selected to represent their teachers at this event. And following the event, or at the end of the award ceremony, we would traditionally hear from the Dana Hills High School Vocal Ensemble, led by their wonderful choir director, Mr. Ray Medina. I would like to express my gratitude for this choir. I love listening to them, and I am so grateful for their ongoing support, now going on 7 years. So we are going to begin and be able to hear from these wonderful students and read about or listen to why they have chosen their wonderful teachers. We are going to begin with Laguna Beach High School. We have Lexi Parness, who will be presenting Mr. John Hendrickson, and Cambria Hall presenting Mr. Jonathan Todd. Then from Dana Hills High School, we have Olivia Weddingill presenting Mr. Tim Sampson, and Olivia Salazar-Hudgens presenting Mr. Randy Hudson. Then from Aliso Niguel High School, we have Ella and Ava Havranek presenting Mr. Ryan Cox, and we have Morgan Flynn presenting Miss Patricia LUSAR. Then from Laguna Hills High School, we have Cole Richards presenting Miss Cheyenne Woodmansee, and Truman Talbot presenting Mr. Joseph Brick. Following the presentation, I want to invite all of you to have some apple pie and ice cream in your homes. And I encourage you to share this video with your friends and family and neighbors. And again, I would just like to thank you for supporting the Crystal Apple Awards. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Lexi Parness. I am a sophomore at Laguna Beach High School, and today I'll be talking about one of the most loved teachers on our campus, Mr. Hendrickson. Mr. Hendrickson was born in Fremont, California, and grew up in Laguna Hills. His junior year of high school, he decided that he wanted to combine the two loves of his life, reading and sports. He went to Brigham Young University, where he studied English and minored in Spanish. After he taught in Riverside for 10 years, he then came to Laguna Beach, where he has been teaching English for the past 13 years. Mr. Hendrickson was inspired by his mother to teach. She wasn't a teacher, but her love of life and teenagers inspired him to do the same. He wanted to be a part of teenagers' lives and find out what makes them tick. His favorite places to go are the Angels Stadium, the golf course, and the yoga studio. He has been married for 25 years and has 4 kids, 3 of which are in college and 1 is a sophomore at Laguna Beach High School. A funny memory Mr. Hendrickson has is his first year of teaching, 2 girls began yelling in the middle of class, and before he knew it, they were in a full-out brawl, which after a few minutes Mr. Hendrickson broke up. Although I have only had Mr. Hendrickson for 1 year, I think it has been long enough where I can confidently tell you that he is one of the most dedicated, supportive, and empathetic teachers we have at LBHS. Greeting his students with a loud song playing every single morning, Mr. Hendrickson never fails to put smiles on his students' faces. He understands what teenagers in this day and age have to go through, and he knows exactly how to help us through any possible situation, whether it be school-related or with friends. One of my favorite memories of Mr. Hendrickson is when he came to watch our JV water polo game at Newport Harbor High School. Some of his students and I in his 5th period class were so surprised and happy that he came to cheer us on. Most of the people who came to watch were only there to watch our varsity team play, so seeing him up in the stands cheering us on was very inspiring to us. I just want to thank Mr. Hendrickson on behalf of all of his students and the staff. Thank you for all that you've done for the school and for the students. You really deserve this Crystal Apple Award. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cambria Hall, and I will be recognizing Jonathan Todd as winning the Crystal Apple Awards. I'm super bummed that I could not attend the Crystal Apple Awards due to coronavirus, but I will do my best to relay my speech and let Mr. Todd know how I feel. Tonight, I would like to recognize Jonathan Todd as one of the most outstanding teachers at LBHS. It is so apparent that Mr. Todd not only cares about teaching government, but also the welfare of every individual enrolled in his class. I myself am a second semester senior at LBHS, and I have never met another teacher as dedicated as Mr. Todd. I am honored to inform you all about how great of a teacher he truly is. I do not just consider Mr. Todd as a teacher, but a true friend. Jonathan Todd grew up in the small town of Lake Arrowhead until about 3rd grade, when he moved with his mother to our beloved town of Laguna Beach. A huge inspirational figure and mentor to Mr. Todd was his mother. She was a professor at Cal State Fullerton, and seeing the effect she had on her students and their lives inspired him to pursue his passion for teaching. While following his dreams to teach, Mr. Todd received his teaching credentials at UCSB. Since then, he has been teaching at LBHS for the past 23 years. Wow. Initially, Mr. Todd wanted to be a professor and coach college football, but found that coaching football at the high school level is more enjoyable. In the end, Mr. Todd believes that high school can be the most influential stage in a person's life where a teen can build a foundation to fall back on in later times. While continuing to honor his mother, Mr. Todd plays forward many of the life lessons she once taught him to each student enrolled in his government class. It is a common misconception when people predict that senior year will be a breeze. Personally, other than junior year, senior year is more challenging than any other. After countless essays and lectures and tests, 12th grade students have become subjected to a common disease known as senioritis. Staying focused in class for 90 minutes is close to impossible, yet I have never heard anyone complain about Mr. Todd's class. The reason why I chose Mr. Todd to receive this award over any other teacher at LBHS is because no matter what situation challenged me as a student, he will hands down be there to support. Mr. Todd does not just show sympathy to students and their challenges, but he pours life into them as well. I will forever be thankful for the times that Mr. Todd has been there for me and my fellow classmates at LBHS. Thank you for everything, Mr. Todd. I hope to see you soon.
Hi, I'm Olivia Wettengel, and I'm a senior at Dana Hills High School. Few people appreciate the fact that Dana Hills yearbook advisor, newspaper advisor, surf coach, and English teacher are all the same person. Surf means early mornings, and yearbook and newspaper mean late nights, but it's widely understood that Tim Sampson is one of the most energetic and entertaining teachers at Dana. Mr. Sampson was born in Torrance, California, and grew up mainly in Laguna Niguel. He attended Saddleback College, where he discovered a love for teaching. He says that it was his college math professor, through encouraging him to stick through his classes, who helped him discover this love. His professor's willingness to tutor any student on his own time struck a chord with Mr. Sampson. He recognized the impact that his professor had on his life and was moved by his success, so he decided that he wanted to help other students feel that same success in English. This, on top of his leadership at a youth ministry, led him to pursue a career in teaching. After 2.5 years at Saddleback, Mr. Sampson transferred to Cal State Fullerton, majoring in English. There, he met the answer to his prayers, his wife, Audra. He taught at Orange High School before moving with Mrs. Sampson to Dana Hills in 2006, where they both taught English. He gradually took on the rigorous roles of yearbook and newspaper advisor at Dana and worked his way up to head coach of the surf team. The power couple now somehow manages a busy schedule and a beautiful family. They have 2 sweet girls, Abra and Vera, and another little girl is on the way. Mr. Sampson has been my yearbook advisor since junior year, and this year he is also my newspaper advisor. Spending so much time in his classes has proved him to be a passionate teacher who invests ridiculous amounts of time into Dana's publications and genuinely cares about our well-being. One example of this ridiculous amount of time is this year in trying to get the yearbook finished. He's spent every day 9 to 11:30 p.m. with the editor-in-chief talking to the printing company trying to get this done. I'm so grateful to him for that. You can't help but love when he gets riled up about something because it reminds you of how much he cares. Mr. Sampson is a truly gifted educator. He can explain Shakespeare so well that even the most hapless freshman can grasp the comedic genius in Romeo and Juliet. He can guide a new newspaper writer through their first article, providing them with just enough instruction to steer them in the right direction without robbing them of their writer's freedom. He can jog the creativity of his yearbook graphic designers and motivate the laziest of photographers. Not a day goes by without a ridiculously well-timed pun or an outrageous story from his own high school days. He engages with his students, never fails to make them laugh, reminds them of their potential, and never cuts corners. I think what I love most about Mr. Sampson is how he is just as much a rebellious kid as he is a teacher. He has told many stories implying that he was a handful as a student and was every one of his class's class clown. It is ironic, to say the least, that he became a teacher. As for his playfulness as an adult, I have no doubt witnessed it, as I am in his classroom at least 8.5 hours a week. Between his 4 subjects, every week, English students, special needs students, photographers, copywriters, graphic designers, news, feature, entertainment, opinion, and sports writers and surfers walk through his classroom door, and he has something to offer to all of them. For all of his ability, though, he doesn't take himself too seriously. One only needs to watch him eat pizza at 10:30 a.m. right alongside his yearbook students to know it. Tim Sampson is the sort of teacher every kid deserves. It is a true honor to give him a little bit of the acknowledgement he deserves and present him with this award. I have been so blessed to have him as my teacher for these past 2 years, and so has anyone else who has passed through his classroom door. So, to our caring and passionate comedian, mentor, friend, beach bum, inspiration, clean freak of a teacher, thank you.
Hi, I'm Olivia Salazar-Hudgens, and I am recognizing Mr. Hudson for his achievement of receiving a Crystal Apple Award. Mr. Hudson has been a loyal and influential teacher at Dana Hills High School for 21 years. He specifically teaches biology and marine ecology. His interest in outdoor and ocean activities influenced his decision of majoring in aquatic biology at UCSB. Before pursuing a career in teaching, he worked as an environmental consultant for 2 years in Boulder, Colorado. His admiration for a field science program implemented in the classroom influenced his decision to take the job and has come back to Dana Hills every year since. Firstly, I would like to start off by saying that science is not my strong suit as a student, and throughout my life I usually found myself dreading the classes. Since being in Mr. Hudson's class this year, I find myself looking forward to his class and being in that positive environment. At the beginning of the year, I didn't do well on my first test, which I take full responsibility for. I was urged by my parents and counselors to drop the class. I chose not to drop the class because I enjoyed the moments and the environment too much. Mr. Hudson believed in me and gave me the opportunity to raise my grades and show me how to grow and strengthen my study habits. He sees his students' potential and doesn't give up on them. He allows his students to feel like they are in a safe environment and can talk to him about their personal life like a friend. I can never tell if he has favorites or dislikes a student because he shows equal appreciation to every individual. He is relatable, funny, and finds any way to crack a joke about a situation or even one of his students. But us students are equally allowed to be humorous towards him and others as well. Mr. Hudson's classroom makes me feel heard and respected, but also allows my true self and creativity to flow throughout our discussions. His calm personality never makes you feel stressed or rushed, and his way of teaching makes everyone feel smart. Because of his respect towards us as learning humans and as a friend, we equally respect him, which results in never having frustration, conflict, or people raising voices. The use of Mr. Hudson's principles and values set as a foundation for his career, which truly have assisted him in mastering the art of teaching. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ella Havranek, and I'm a junior at Aliso Niguel High School.
And I'm Ava Havranek, and I'm a sophomore.
We both have Mr. Cox for English this year, which is a little bit unusual because we're in different grades. But my class originally had a different teacher at the beginning of the year, and then we switched and had Mr. Cox as our teacher for second semester. And I was really excited when I found out about this because I heard many great things from Ava about Mr. Cox, and I have to say I agree with all of them. Mr. Cox is the type of teacher who has high expectations, but he doesn't force them upon you. He makes you want to work hard and do your best by encouraging you. He's the type of teacher who makes you actually want to read the book that you're assigned instead of just look up the summaries online. Mr. Cox is very knowledgeable and very good at analyzing books. He helps us understand the book that we're reading very well by making connections to other things in our world. One of the things that I've missed about not having his class lately are his lectures. After each block of chapters that we read, he lectures us on those chapters. He summarizes them and helps us understand them in a way that we wouldn't be able to if we had read them on our own. Even though the book that we're reading in class is long and tough, he makes it interesting and fun.
Mr. Cox makes all of the literature we study interesting and meaningful and helps us understand how it applies to our world today. He challenges us to write about literature in ways that expand our understanding and helps us feel more confident about our abilities. I have become a more skilled and effective writer thanks to Mr. Cox. He expects our best work and really pushes us to produce it. He's a very positive and optimistic person. He inspires us to not only be good students, but good people overall. Mr. Cox takes the time to get to know his students, which not every teacher does. You can tell Mr. Cox truly cares about his job and his students and that this is a career he would choose over any other. As young students, it is inspiring to get to learn from a man like Mr. Cox each day. We are not only better students, but more thoughtful and aware of the world around us. We think Mr. Cox is very deserving of the Crystal Apple Award this year.
Congratulations, Mr. Cox,
and
thank you so much for all you do.
Hi, my name is Morgan Flynn and I'm a senior. I nominated Miss LUSAR because she's more than just a teacher at my school. She's my teacher, my coach, my friend, my mom away from home, and more. Miss LUSAR was born in Laguna Beach but was raised in Laguna Niguel. She likes to rock climb, hike, coach pole vault, and hang out with her friends. She has a dad who lives locally and frequently comes to the meets she coaches at. She said it was the really good teachers and the really bad teachers she had throughout her schooling that really drove her to become a teacher. I can't imagine who these teachers are because Miss LUSAR is such an amazing teacher. She has been teaching for about 4 years now, and she told me that one time when she was first starting, a kid asked her to go to the bathroom. At the time, it was not allowed for students to go to vending machines. Well, he came back to class walking about how I imagine a dog walks through wet grass with his pants stuffed. Apparently, he had collected money from all the kids around them and bought them chips on his trip to the bathroom. And because he didn't want to be seen with them and couldn't fit them in his pockets, he had to stuff them down his sweatpants. Long story short, Miss LUSAR has seen her fair share of shenanigans despite being relatively new to teaching. She always knows exactly what to do and to say, even when I don't know what I want her to say. Even if I'm having a bad day or even a really good day, I'll go into her classroom and she'll listen to me while I talk her ear off, whether it is a rant or her telling me something really good that happened. She's someone I can depend on. I tell her everything because I know the advice she gives me will be non-biased, mature, and just the right decision in general. Miss LUSAR has helped me fill out job applications and scholarship applications and helped me know what to wear to an interview and how to talk to an employer. She helps me with math and English, even though that's not even her class. If that doesn't help you understand how far above and beyond she goes as a person and as a teacher, you won't believe what she did for me this year. I had a pair of red socks that I wore to every single track meet, and because I wore them to every single track meet, they got holes in them. However, when I went to buy another pair, they were sold out. I told Mrs. LUSAR I was really bummed. Next thing I know, she bought me several pairs of nearly identical socks after looking up a picture of them from my CIF meet last year. She custom made them. I've never had anyone do something that nice for me. Also, I go into her classroom most days for lunch, where me and some other kids watch Star Wars or Indiana Jones, or we juggle or chat, and she provides a spot for us to chill without having to worry about other kids at school. She even sacrifices her lunch so that we can have a better high school experience. And she's not even my teacher this year. While I can't believe everything she's done for me specifically, I see her reach out to so many different kids. I think she's edited at least 2 or more of something like 20 kids on the track team, school or college essays, and she's a math teacher. She has also given at least me and 3 other girls lectures on Shakespeare to help us understand our English class. One of the most prominent qualities of a good teacher for me is someone who is passionate about what they do, and you can tell by the way they speak. Mrs. LUSAR's lectures are always engaging because everyone in the room knows that not only does she care about what she teaches, she cares about who she teaches. So I just want to thank her in any way I can because Mrs. LUSAR has changed my life and shaped many of my friends and I. But nothing is enough to thank her for what she does. Congratulations, Mrs. LUSAR. Thank you.
Miss Woodmansee is a 9th and 12th grade English teacher that teaches at Laguna Hills High School, where she has been teaching for 7 years. She grew up in the Central Valley in a small town called Springville. She later attended UCI, where she got her undergrad in dance and her teaching credential and master's in English. Miss Woodmansee grew up loving to read and write and always seemed to be ahead of her peers. She decided to become a teacher when she started to help others with their writing and when she tutored what is now her husband. In her off time, she loves to go on hikes at places like the Grand Canyon and loves going to Crystal Cove Beach. She also loves to bake and is capable of making award-winning desserts. In college, she had 2 teachers that always made sure that all their students were doing okay and that they were always offer their support if their students needed anything, which is what inspired Miss Woodmansee to teach the way she does. She teaches with energy and makes sure everyone is understanding the topic being presented. If not, she will help to make sure they will do good. Growing up, I always despised the days that we would focus on English in elementary school, and when I found out that you had it every day in middle school and high school, I was distraught. Going into freshman year, I was thinking that I was going to hate English just like I had every year before this one. I heard good things about Miss Woodmansee, but still wasn't sure about English class as a whole. Right when I walked into class on the first day, I could feel the energy in which Miss Woodmansee taught, and it was the first time I've seen an English teacher that seemed like they really cared about their students and making sure they're getting the proper education that they were told they were going to get. Throughout the year, Miss Woodmansee has always done a good job at keeping class more energetic than your standard sit in class and take notes all day or write essays all day. She makes class so much more bearable and doesn't make you want to sleep the entire period. One specific moment from the school year is one time earlier in the year, I was having trouble with my essay, like I always do, so I went into tutorial and asked her for help. The entire tutorial period, she helped me understand more and how to fix the little mistakes I was making. I turned it in feeling more confident than I ever had after turning in an essay and ended up getting a high A. I know without her willingness to sit down and help explain to me and help me one-on-one and fix my mistakes and give me the confidence to continue to finish the essay on my own, I probably would have gotten a high C or low B. Miss Woodmansee always loves to help any one of her students and is so caring and has the most patience of any teacher out there. I would like to thank Miss Woodmansee for all that she has done for me and as well as my classmates, and I'm so happy that she's able to receive this award.
Mr. Brick, what an awesome teacher to have. Joe Brick is the father of 2 to Cody, who's 14, and Logan, who's 8. And he's married to his wonderful wife, Jill. He was born in Fullerton, California, and grew up right across the freeway in Mission Viejo. Mr. Brick attended Mission Viejo High School and Saddleback College, where he played football, and later attended San Diego State, where he majored in English. Mr. Brick was inspired to teach by his former teachers and coaches. He has taught at Laguna Hills High School for all 23 years of his career, where he has coached both basketball and football, and he now teaches English. He's a true hawk at heart. This is my first year in Mr. Brick's class, and I absolutely love it. Everyone told me, you have to get Mr. Brick, and everyone wants to be in his class. He's fun every day and always puts a smile on my face. Literally every word that comes out of this man's mouth is hilarious, and I just continuously laugh all period long. His daily motto is to keep smiling, be happy, and enjoy life, and he really lives by that. It's my pleasure to award Mr. Brick the Crystal Apple Award.